Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Military Security Affairs Committee. It's been about 5 months, I guess, since the last time we met. I think it was in October when the Adjutant General came and spoke to us. We had originally scheduled for the Center for Domestic Preparedness to be with us today for some other technical reasons and things they're doing in their organization. They're not able to be with us live. So we've got some other speakers today. And before we get started, again, thank you for joining in. I'd like to have a quick word of prayer before we get started, if you'll join me. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this time to come together as an organization in this community, family and friends. Lord, we thank you for the many blessings and opportunities you provide us each and every day. We thank you for your Son, Jesus Christ. Lord, we ask you, please continue to watch over us and guide and protect us in all that we do. Please be with all those who could not be with us today for whatever reason. Thank you for those that are traveling today. Please be with them and let them arrive back home in a safe and sound manner. Please watch over our families wherever they may be. Watch over our military personnel and their families wherever they may be serving. Please protect them while they protect us. And all this we pray in your name. Amen. So, our first speaker today is Colonel Tim Alexander. He is the Chief of Staff of the 167th Theater Sustainment Command, and I'm going to turn it over to him right now to get into his presentation.
Hey everybody, good morning. It's great to be here today and to talk with you a little bit about the 167th Theater Sustainment Command. Many of you may or may not know about the Theater Sustainment Command. We are right out the back gate at Fort McClellan. A lot of folks don't know we're there, but wanted to take an opportunity today to introduce myself and ourselves to you and let you know about your neighbors here at Fort McClellan. It's a special bait to be here today. Chuck, thanks again for the welcome. I've got a lot of great ties to the Anniston McClellan area. I went to, many years ago, went to basic training here back in 1989. So got that experience. And then from 02 to 04, right after the 9/11 attacks, we were here for Operation Noble Eagle. Had about 350 soldiers, and we guarded the chemical weapons stockpile at the Anniston Army Depot, as well as providing some additional security for the Anniston Army Depot. And we lived here on Fort McClellan. So for any of y'all familiar with the area, I think Ms. Mai here, her barbershop's cut my hair more than any one single person probably has cut my hair in my life. So got a lot of ties to the community. So just wanted to give you a quick command brief and talk to you about what we do here. Again, I'm the Chief of Staff here at the TSC, and I'm also that's my M-Day job, or my drilling job, what I do on drill weekends, as well as during the week. But I'm also the MACOM Administrative Officer, and that means I'm the senior full-time supervisor of the full-time force we have here at the TSC. All right, next slide, please. All right, just a real quick look at our agenda. Next slide. So looking at our command team, we are a multi-general officer command group. We have a 2-star CG, Major General Sylvester Cannon. He is just recently on board as of around October, November of 2020. He formerly served as the Deputy Adjutant General. Y'all, of course, had Major General Cheryl Gordon here. So he was her deputy in his previous assignment at our Joint Force Headquarters. Our Deputy Commanding General is Brigadier General Terry Grisham. General Grisham was recently promoted to 1-star back in late 2020. He works full-time on his full-time job up at Redstone Arsenal at AMCOM in a civilian capacity, but he's our Deputy Commanding General here, and he was formerly an ATAG, one of our Assistant Adjutant Generals down at Joint Force Headquarters. And then Command Sergeant Major Stallings has been with the unit for many years. He has over 32 years of service. He was previously the Command Sergeant Major of the 111th Explosive Ordnance Group, headquartered out of Opelika. And so when General Grisham was a colonel, I was his brigade executive officer. So I've got some experience with him, of course, working with General Cannon many years. And then Sergeant Major Stallings and I grew up in the Armory and Cavalry community in our assignments over the years. All right, next slide. So you're very familiar with us. We're here at Fort McClellan. But what a lot of people don't know is the 167th Theater Sustainment Command is the only theater sustainment command in the National Guard. We have 2 higher headquarters that we work for. Our next higher headquarters is Army South, and that's based out of San Antonio, Texas. That's where their headquarters is at, and they have a 2-star commanding general as well, Major General Walrath. And then their higher headquarters and our higher headquarters beyond that is U.S. Southern Command, which is responsible for Central and South America as a combatant command. So we're unique in that we are an Alabama National Guard unit, and as you'll see later in the presentation, but we do have both Title 10 active duty soldiers here stationed at Anniston, as well as traditional Alabama National Guardsmen that are full-time, and our drilling National Guard soldiers on the weekend. So we're really unique in the National Guard structure in both what we do and our headquarters and our mission. Next slide. All right, our mission, 167 Theater Sustainment Command plans and executes theater opening, distribution, and sustainment operations across the range of military operations in support of a multi-domain theater area of operations. So as I said, we're responsible for sustainment across Central America and South America. To give you a comparable organization, the first Theater Sustainment Command is responsible for the same mission in the CENTCOM AOR. So the Afghanistan, Kuwait, that entire Central Command area of operations. So it's a huge responsibility and a huge mission that we manage. And our vision is for us to be the Army's expert in rapid, reliable, and adaptive sustainment solutions anytime and anywhere. All right, I'm going to cover every one of these, but I'll cover a few key operational facts about the organization. Next slide. Okay, so we are assigned, like I just told you, to our command structure. We're assigned to an Army Service Component Command and a Geographical Combatant Commander. We're a headquarters unit. We're a Theater Sustainment Command. We have a command group and special staff and a special troops battalion that handle all of our internal sustainment and keep the organization running. It can deploy a ESC or an Expeditionary Sustainment Command when we determine that that's needed. For example, here in Alabama, we have the 135th ESC, Expeditionary Sustainment Command. When they are deployed to CENTCOM, they are actually first TSC's command post forward. So that's kind of how that relationship would work. If we ever would have to go forward, we could use a ESC to be our command post forward. All right, next slide. All right, we're focused on strategic and operational sustainment. We are a headquarters, provides mission command of subordinate organizations and functional units. So we don't have any direct, in a real world scenario, we don't have units assigned. We have units assigned to us in our command hierarchy here in the state for our National Guard chain of command and our National Guard down trace direct reporting units. But if we were to deploy on active duty to support the Southcom and Army South, units would be assigned to us as down trace units. We would do a request for forces function, we would get those units assigned to us. If we were deployed to a combatant command, we are the senior Army sustainment headquarters within an area of responsibility. We also ensure the physical flow of inbound forces, non-unit cargo. We make sure those priorities are met. We do just transit monitoring, organization, control, etc. We also monitor the theater ports of debarkation, theater distribution network. So a lot that we do to make sure that within the theater, sustainment operations are happening. All right, next slide. All right, give you a little quick overview of the unit. Again, we talked about Southcom and Army South. We're a multi-component National Guard flagged organization, as I mentioned. We've got about 359 personnel on our MTO. As I mentioned, we've got 35 authorized active duty slots here, 45 active Guard and Reserve or technician positions, which are our National Guard full-time force. We've got some additional M-Day soldiers in there. And bottom line, when you total all that up, we're authorized about 359 soldiers, and we're sitting at approximately about 320 of those now, or 89%. So just a great organization and a lot of folks out here when we're fully manned up outside the back gate at McClellan. All right, next slide. All right, so as you would imagine, being a National Guard unit, we of course have that federal mission, but we also have a state mission. Our state mission is to provide resources, guidance, readiness oversight, and to make sure that if the state of Alabama needs us for something, we've got ready soldiers and a ready unit able to take care of anything that goes on the state as far as natural disasters or supporting operations as dictated by our state partners when we're called upon and needed. If you look at the org chart there, of course, you see we on our M-Day side, we fall under the governor, National Guard Bureau, and of course, all that we're commanded by Major General Gordon, our Adjutant General. And if you look down below us there, we've got several down trace units. We've got the 111th Explosive Ordnance unit there, and that's down in Opelika. We've got the 279th Army Field Support Brigade that's up at Huntsville and work out there near Redstone. And then we've got the 440th get to my next page here and get on my, we got the 440th Theater Movement Control Element. We've got the 1307th Explosive Hazards Coordination Cell, and then we've got some other JAG units. So the 1307th, basically they receive and track explosive hazard information, maintain landmine databases, and do pattern analysis of explosive hazards incidents. The 279th Army Field Support Brigade, again, they're the only AFSB in the National Guard, and they provide integrated acquisitions, logistics, technology, and support to organic and augmented capabilities amongst the supported Army forces. We've got the 111th Explosive Ordnance team there, and they basically deploy to a theater of operations, provide mission command to all of our EOD assets that fall up underneath them, which include the 441st EOD Battalion, the 641st and 666 EOD companies. And then additionally, we've got the, as I mentioned, the 440th Theater Movement Control Element. They do container management, highway regulation, and coordination for moving personnel and materials through a theater. We've also had the 1930th Regional Trial Defense Team and 329th Field Trial Defense Team. So at the TSC, we have an 06 JAG, and for the state of Alabama, we basically hold the administrative boards and any court type activities that take place. We have the convening authority for those. All right, next slide. Right, in our federal mission, plan and execute theater opening, distribution, sustainment operations, just basically, of course, looking across all military operations. We talked previously Army South, Southcom, and then the TSC here in Anniston. All right, next slide. On this next slide, I'm really going to focus on our lines of effort. Of course, Southern Command's Southern Command, they've got their lines of, their primary line of effort is countering threats, strengthening partnerships, and building our team. Army South is disrupting transnational and transnational threat networks, rapid response, and then building. Here in Alabama, with the TSC, our primary lines of effort are building and maintaining unit readiness, accomplishing the combatant command and Army service component command objectives, and be a leader for sustainment initiatives and training for National Guard sustainment units. Next slide. All right, so looking at our internal command organizational structure, you can see there we're typically set up like a division or higher unit. We have a commander, a deputy commander, a special troops battalion. The commander, of course, that's his special staff. I serve as the chief of staff, and my primary job is managing the G1 through the G9 and the DMC. And if you look at the slide, you can see there, we're very robust headquarters. The green blocks highlight that they're actually full-time soldiers here working in Anniston on a daily basis that manage those special staff functions. So we have a very robust full-time staff running day-to-day operations. Right, next slide. Now, the heart and soul of what we do there at the TSC is managed by the Distribution Management Center, and that's led by an 06. So as a chief of staff, I'm an 06 there and run the staff. But this is such an important element of what we do that there's actually a Title 10 or active duty 06 colonel that helps run this entire distribution management center. It is the center of gravity for everything we do at the TSC. They're our direct liaison to our strategic partners, DLA, Army Sustainment Command, a breadth of partners that we have in the sustainment community. And as you can see, looking at the slide there, they manage, they are the heart and soul of what we do as far as distribution management and sustainment operations in our organization. All right, next slide. All right, so to wrap up, just basically want to leave you with these thoughts. The TSC is a key enabler for operational reach, freedom of action, and endurance of the Joint Task Forces of the Southcom AOR. We're linked at the hip with our strategic partners through all phases of the operations that we conduct. We're the center of expertise regarding sustainment and operational environment, a leader in the sustainment community, and the single logistics focal point for Southcom and the Army South response forces. All right, hey, that's all I have today for you. It's been a pleasure to sit up here and talk with you today and kind of give you an overview of the TSC. Appreciate your time again and your interest. And with that, I'll turn the mic back over to Seth. Anybody have any questions? Okay, thank you very much again for your time today. I'll turn it back over to Chuck.
Thank you, Tim. I've known Tim Alexander for a long, long time. I got to work with him when I was still active. The Theater Sustainment Command is one of the most dynamic units in the Alabama National Guard and in the inventory in the United States. He rushed through that very quickly. If you dial down each and everything that he went into, it's an incredible amount of information and an incredible amount of men and women. And they may be 350 strong, but they, when they're in the field, when they're in their operational environment, there are thousands of people that depend on them to do what they do, to get where they're going, to get what they need. If there was a sense of a time of emergency in our country, this organization has the ability to dial into, say, like Walmart distribution center and figure out what it is that they have that we could use for whatever emergency it is. A lot of things going on. It's a great thing for the Anniston community to still have this large of a unit in our area. And that's out the back gate of the training center here, who does a different role of military operations as well. So glad to have you as a partner. Glad for you to be here with us. It's good to see you again. Good congratulations in your new job, and I know you'll do it well. Now I'm going to ask another good friend of mine, Robert LeBranch. What's your name? Robert LeBranch, who I serve with on the Military Stability Foundation for Alabama. I've been on there for a couple of years, and Robert is our executive director. And he is the key person for our organization to do legislative work, do all kind of things behind the scenes to make things for Alabama to be the most military-friendly state in the United States. So, Robert.
Hey, good morning. It's a pleasure to be with you today. And as Chuck said, I'm the executive director of the Alabama Military Stability Foundation. Chuck actually serves as our chairman of the Military Stability Foundation, and we're so pleased to have his leadership on the foundation. The foundation was created along with the Military Stability Commission in 2011. It was at that point, it seemed imminent that we were going to have another round of base realignment and closure. And so in order to make sure that we had adequate collaboration throughout the state and making sure that we're protecting our military missions, then Lieutenant Governor Kay Ivey moved to create this organization that would provide funding to communities to protect our military installations. And until a few years ago, we were really mainly focused on infrastructure needs. We were focused on economic impact data, and we still use that as a focus. But another focus that has come into play in a big way is our military family support and making sure that we are tending to the needs of military families and providing good military quality of life. Our chairman of our commission, which the foundation supports, is Lieutenant Governor Will Ainsworth, and we have members of our commission from throughout the state, and including in this community, we've got Greg Potts and Nathan Hill from this community representing Anniston, and we also do have folks from all of our other military communities, but also the Speaker Pro, Senate Pro Tem, Speaker of the House, chairs of the military committees, and constitutional officers as well. So we have a great organization that we're able to support our military through. One of our most recent projects was the creation of a website, which we partnered with Anniston and with our military communities to field, heroeswelcome.alabama.gov. It is the first in the nation statewide resource page for military families, and we're continuing to build that. And as part of that, we brought on a military family liaison, Jen Holliday. She is the wife of the former garrison commander at Redstone Arsenal. And also she helped us build Heroes Welcome. And she has been going out and in our communities and building networks to provide support for military families as they transition to our state. Another big facet of our job as the Military Stability Foundation and the Commission is a legislative agenda. And we work with Lieutenant Governor's office. We work with the Defense State Liaison's office out of the Pentagon. We work with the Council of State Governments and a variety of different sources, including Air University in Montgomery and folks up here as well, to field a package of legislation. This is our second year fielding it, through this Lieutenant Governor. And last year, obviously, things got cut short due to COVID, and we weren't able to move that package forward. So we had a really ready-made set of bills that we could move forward. First bill that we put forward was the Tall Structures Bill. This bill was asked for by the Army, understanding that we have a national asset in our airspace here in Alabama. We need to protect our airspace. And so this bill requires that any municipality that's granting a permit for a tall structure would have to go to the military department and make sure that that they have some input on that. The military department can't veto the decision, they can't stop it, but what they can do is provide that insight that, hey, we've got these landing fields here, or if you go down the Wiregrass especially, there are landing fields and staging fields all throughout the Wiregrass, South Alabama, if you impact that, then we could lose that mission. And so we have to be very careful about protecting that asset. You have to understand 50% of all flight hours in the United States Army happen from Fort Rucker. And about half of those are flown by people who don't have their wings yet. And so we have to make sure that that is clear airspace. And so we have to focus on that. The next sort of tranche of bills I'm going to discuss is related to spouse licensure reciprocity. That's one of the main facets of military quality of life that the Department of Defense has focused on. We passed a bill in 2018 that provided pretty blanket reciprocity for military families, and it left a couple of groups off, but there also have been these compacts that have been created, and that's where states will get together and pass issue-specific compacts that provide reciprocity, not just to military families, but to professionals throughout the nation. And we had 3 of these compacts that we passed this year: physical therapy, psychology, and audiology and speech therapy. Those join our EMT and also our military spouse JD network that provides for lawyers that are spouses as well. So the key is with these military reciprocity bills is that you want to make sure that as military families are moving from station to station, that the spouses are able to maintain a fulfilling and successful work life as well. And if they have to pick up and move to a new state and then figure out how to get licensed, and then try to find a job with that license, by the time they do all of that, it may be time to move again. Particularly as you look at these short-term assignments like coming to Air Command and Staff College for a year. By the time you get through the process, it's already too late. And so this provides that seamless entry for military families as they come to our state. Another bill that we passed was a military charter schools bill. One of the other facets of military quality of life that the Department of Defense is focused on is quality public education. And so we're working particularly around Montgomery to make sure that there are good options for military families as they come in. The communities have worked with Air University, including Prattville, Pike Road, Wetumpka, have all worked with Air University to provide the ability for military families to attend those schools if they choose to. And then also we did that further step of actually confirming that they'll get treated as an exchange student might rather than a transfer. And so they don't lose that year of eligibility if they need to play football or other sports, that kind of thing. But the charter schools bill is just another tool in that toolkit. There is currently the only stateside Air Force DoDEA school in the entire Air Force. on Maxwell. And it is currently a K-8, but they would like to turn that to a K-12. And so one of the ways that we might do that is through a charter. This bill just provides that if you build a charter adjacent to Maxwell Air Force Base, that charter would be accessible first to airmen and their families. Another bill we got passed was Troops to Teachers. That just streamlines that path from the military service into a teaching career. We also passed a bill on in-state tuition continuity. That's important because if you're stationed here with your family and you go to Auburn University and then your family moves, previously you would be in danger of losing your in-state status if your family moves away. And so this bill passed, and so we will be able to maintain that. We'll have that continuity for children of service members, even if their parent moves out of the state. We also added members of the minority party to the commission. That's another bill that we passed. We also passed a bill ensuring a lifetime hunting license for disabled veterans, and free pistol permits also for honorably discharged veterans. Another piece of the legislative agenda that we got passed this year is a Purple Star Schools program. This is something that was new to the Defense State Liaison's list of priorities, but since our Air Force friends at Maxwell had already started working with us on this, we had a plan in place and we're working with the Department of Education already. So we're going to be continuing. We got a resolution passed back in February, and we're building this program. Our military family liaison is working with the Department of Education to build this program. And basically, in order to be named a Purple Star Schools, they have to have meet certain requirements that make them military friendly. They have to designate a military liaison within the school. They have to create a resource page for military families on their website. And they have to establish a student-led transition program so that when a military child comes into the school, they get offered a mentor, peer mentor that can sort of show them the ropes and make sure that they have a smooth transition into our schools. We also passed a bill last year, which was really important. It was one of the only pieces that actually got through of our package, that the virtual schools would be available based on a military member's orders. So once they get those PCS orders, they can go ahead and enroll their student into the program, the virtual school program, so they can get started right away. And so that entire package of bills got passed, and the governor signed them into law last week, as a matter of fact. And we expect a formal bill signing sometime next month. We're still waiting on the dates for that, but we will be sure to let everybody here know, and we'd love to have you join us. So aside from the projects I've mentioned so far, we also do projects in our communities. We recently partnered in the last couple of years with Anniston to do an economic impact report that you may have seen in the Anniston Star. They did an insert, and really good stuff. Because most of our folks don't understand exactly how important the military is to Alabama. It's 8% of our GDP, $20 billion over the state. And people think about the military and know that they're thankful, but they don't realize how thankful they should be. We're one of the top 10 states in terms of percent of GDP from the military. And so we're very proud to serve in Alabama, but we're also very thankful for the impact on our state. Now, a few more of those projects are, we also were integral in getting the F-35s assigned to Danley Field, the 187th. As you may be aware, we have some F-16s at the 187th now, and those are slated for retirement. So to get that follow-on mission, we did things like provided funding for design work, for intercontrol points, and just upgrades throughout the system that, in active duty military, it gets paid for, through MILCON dollars and that kind of thing. But when the Guard, we don't have that. And so the communities have to get together and join up to make sure that there's everything we need for bed down of those assets. And so we're really excited about F-35 coming. We also recently did a SWOT analysis for Fort Rucker. They're looking at some missions that could flow to Fort Rucker from other places in the country. And we want to be ready. And we want to help our delegation understand what the opportunity is, first of all, and second of all, why it's makes sense for it to come to Alabama. And then, finally, we played a very big role. Probably one of our bigger investments in the last 10 years of existence, in funding the Space Command pitch for the Redstone Regional Alliance. Obviously, we had a successful pitch for that. And in addition to funding, I worked closely with the Redstone Regional Alliance team to draft letters for the governor to send to the Department of Defense based on what we were willing to offer. And obviously Alabama won the day on that and won it by a long shot. Now there are a lot of folks that are out there, particularly Colorado, trying to yank it back. But we won based on the merits, and Colorado, as we understand it, actually ranked in the bottom third of applicants, but they have been quite noisy. But I can guarantee you that if we had something similar to what they're experiencing, we would be very noisy ourselves because they think it's theirs, and so we're excited to be receiving it. And the other side of that is there's a GAO investigation. It's not an investigation, but a review. There's an IG review as well. Those are natural parts of this process. There's another side that's not public, which is, the Air Force is visiting in a couple of weeks, Redstone, to start that bed down process. So while there is this sort of political tumult over it, the Air Force is already moving forward. The final decision date is 2023, but we expect that we'll move that up, actually, because that's based on getting some environmental impact data that most of it has already been collected, because as a matter of fact, this is the second time Alabama has won this. We won it last year, and then it got thrown out, and then they went through the whole process again. So we expect this one's going to stick. But during that last process, we went through a lot of the the environmental impact study work that we had to do there. So with that, if you have any questions, I'm happy to try to answer them, or if you get a tough one, we'll ask Chuck to come up. I guess I answered all the questions. They're dazzled. Thank you.
Thanks, Robert. Another organization's got a lot of moving pieces. Basically, the foundation is the working arm of the commission. And so if there's something that needs to be funded, the foundation gets the money and appropriates it like it's supposed to. Our foundation has helped the Anderson community a pretty good bit over the years. We hope that continues. We know it will continue. I know we got a couple of things going on today. I think the TACOM commander is visiting the Anderson Army Depot today with Congressman Rogers. And who did you tell me is it in Montgomery? Chief of the National Guard Bureau, 4-star general, is visiting with the TAG today, the Adjutant General in Montgomery. So Alabama's got a lot of things going on. You don't already think about that, but another thing on the foundation and the commission, we represent all communities, military communities in Alabama, starting up with Redstone, Huntsville, Birmingham, Anniston, Montgomery, and then Mobile. And then of course, in Montgomery, you also kind of go to the east a little bit and get in sort of the Fort Benning area too, Columbus, Phoenix City area there. So we got a lot of things going on, and we keep something going in all the regions. So we're very well represented. And again, it's big business, and we get a lot of that business, and we hope to continue that business. And politics change a lot of things. And so that's one of the things Robert stays in touch with, is our political side of the house. So that concludes our 2 briefings today. If anybody has any questions, please submit them in writing. We'll get back to you in a couple of months. And yeah, we're planning, our next meeting will be June the 9th. Is that correct? This year. And we'll have a briefing from the Anderson Army Depot, Phil Trude and his guys. So anything else I need to cover? Linda's saying no. I couldn't understand. You had your mask on, Nathan. What did you say? I saw Rick earlier at CDP. Hey, Rick, I see you. You got anything for us?
Actually, we'll be glad to follow the depot after their presentation, and yeah, we're hoping once the country opens up a little bit more, that we'll have more to share with y'all, and so that'll be perfect timing for us. And we appreciate the 187th or 167th rather for stepping in for us today.
Sure. Well, we're all partners in this, and we got a big team, and everybody's on the team, and so hopefully we're getting everything back into the flow and back into rhythm. And as this coronavirus, everybody gets their vaccines, and that's more and more. So that's all we can hope and pray for. Thank you again for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. So I guess we're over. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.